I'm not sure if I have a language or enough vocabulary to describe seeing Assad walking on the red carpet in Jeddah and in Riyadh. I mean, I see many Syrian faces here, and I'm sure that everyone shared the same feeling. It was very painful. It was very disappointing. It felt like a betrayal. And let me emphasize that it did not feel like a betrayal because I had faith in the Arab League or Arab leaders. It felt like that because I had hope in Syrians. I had hope that the efforts we've been making for 12 years now will pay off, and that we will never at least see Assad, just sitting among other war criminals, I would say, and preaching on what happened in Syria in the past 12 years. Especially for someone like me, this normalization is, to be honest, I have no other word to describe it. It feels like the beginning of the end. It feels like, the last, it kills any hope I have and many other families have in being reunited with our loved ones one day and finding out what happened to them, and most importantly, freeing them. And here I want to say that it feels very weird to be here today and to yet one more time talk about my father. I'm not here to explain to you how great my father was. It doesn't matter. My father is my father, and the hundreds of thousands of people detained in Assad's prisons, they all have families, they all have loved ones, and they have millions of people waiting for them. And I'm not here to convince you that we deserve freedom, because we are entitled to freedom. I'm here. Thank you. I'm here to say how angry, how frustrated, how disappointed, and how unsurprised I am that we've been here since this morning and we barely heard any conversation about detainees. We barely heard any conversation about normalization. And most importantly, we barely heard any conversation about a political solution. How come, thank you, how come that any of us here believe genuinely that an early recovery for Syria could be possible while Assad is still in power? Are we just here to waste our time? I've been here second time. We've been here for 12 years. We've been, you've been exhausting our traumas. You've been exhausting our pain. You've been exhausting our stories. And for what? Nothing has changed. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry for anyone. I know that many of us have been, I appreciate the work that many of us have been doing. But it's not enough. Assad is the main perpetrator in this country. And Assad is the reason... Assad is the reason that I'm here today in Europe, the garden, unfortunately. He's the reason that I had to flee the jungle that many European officials call the jungle. And Assad is the reason that I had to flee the country, but Assad was enabled by this entity and by many other states. So let's not pretend that we all care about the recovery of Syria or the humanitarian aid for Syria. Let's start by naming, unfortunately, after 12 years, I have to emphasize that we all know who did it. We all know that Assad is still in power. He is still committing crimes against the humanity. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of detainees, not only those inside detention centers. We're talking about people being detained now while we speak here today by the same person who's being welcomed in Jeddah and who, as Noura said, we know that he might be welcomed here one day. So I think we need to start by, just talking the truth and not fooling each other.